so what if you could ship software faster than ever without, breaking things? In this explainer, we are going to build the ultimate developer roadmap. We'll break down exactly how elite teams create this high-velocity ecosystem that perfectly balances incredible speed with rock-solid security. All right, let's jump in. You've probably felt this tension, right? Every single development team does. The business side wants new features, like yesterday, but the security team needs to make sure everything is completely locked down. It's that classic battle, speed versus safety. But what if you didn't actually have to choose? And here it is, the core conflict, laid out plain and simple. On one hand, developers thrive on speed, on autonomy, on innovation. But on the other hand, the enterprise needs security, compliance, and consistency, especially when it's trying to scale. These goals, they really seem to be pulling in opposite directions, creating all this friction that just slows everybody down. Okay, so how do we solve this? Well, the first part of the solution is to pave a really clear road forward for everyone. And this is where this whole concept of golden paths comes into play. It's a guided, standardized route to getting work done right. Think of a golden path as the perfectly paved, multi-lane superhighway for all your development. It's a predefined route, probably created by your platform team, that has all the best practices, all the templates, and all the automation just built right in. It basically answers that one question we all have: how can I start coding fast and safe without reinventing the wheel every single time? So how does a developer actually use one of these? It's honestly brilliantly simple. You start with a pre-approved repository template that already has everything you need. From there, all the automated workflows for testing and deployment, they just run. The best practices for security and compliance are already embedded, so you get to focus on the fun part: building, iterating, and scaling your app. The real power of golden paths comes from these 5 key principles. You get standardization across all your projects. You get automation for all those repetitive tasks. And you get self-service, so developers can get started in an instant. Security is baked in, not bolted on later. And the whole thing is reusable, which guarantees consistency as your organization gets bigger. Now, a great highway is pretty useless without a powerful engine to actually build it and, let cars drive on it. And that brings us to the second piece of our roadmap, automating the very foundation of our infrastructure. And this engine is called Infrastructure as Code, or IASC for short. It's a really revolutionary idea. Instead of manually clicking a bunch of buttons to set up servers, networks, and databases, you defined everything in code. You literally write a script that describes your perfect environment, and then automation just takes care of the rest. It's a game changer. And to appreciate it, let's just remember the pain of the old way for a second. Manually setting up infrastructure was so slow and incredibly prone to human error. It was almost impossible to scale, and it led to this really nasty problem called configuration drift, where your dev environment looked nothing like your production one. And that, of course, caused all sorts of terrible surprise bugs. We've all been there. Now let's contrast that with the IAC way. Deployments are suddenly incredibly fast. Your entire infrastructure is version controlled, just like your application code. You can automate at a massive scale. You dramatically reduce human error, and you can guarantee that every single environment is a perfect, identical replica. And the workflow itself is it's beautiful. A developer writes the infrastructure code, say in Terraform, and then pushes it to GitHub. That simple push automatically triggers a GitHub action. The action validates the code, and then it deploys the infrastructure. It is a completely hands-off, totally reliable, and perfectly repeatable process. Okay, so we have our highway and we have our engine. But any good highway needs rules of the road, right? Otherwise, you just have chaos. And that's where governance comes in, to provide safety without creating a massive traffic jam. This is our third and final piece. Now, scalable governance isn't about micromanagement. It's about smart, automated rules. With policy as code, the system enforces the rules, not a person in a meeting. You set up global guardrails. These are broad safety boundaries that still give developers plenty of flexibility. And the most crucial point here is that it's all developer-centric. It makes it easy and just natural to do the right thing. Because really, the ultimate goal for any creative, innovative team is autonomy. It's the freedom to build, to experiment, and to solve problems without getting blocked by a bunch of bureaucracy. But pure, unchecked autonomy can be risky. And that's where the guardrails come in. You should think of them like a safety net. It's not about restriction. It's all about enabling developers to move fast and safely. And when you combine that autonomy with those smart guardrails, you get the magic formula. You get a development environment that is both highly productive and fundamentally safe. And that tension that we talked about at the very beginning, it just starts to disappear. So let's bring it all together. We've looked at 3 pretty powerful concepts, and now we can see how they all unify to create a complete roadmap for high-velocity, secure development. First up, you've got golden paths. This is the what. They are the clear, pre-paved roadmap that shows everyone the best way to get from a simple idea all the way to production. Next, infrastructure as code is the how. It's that powerful automated engine that actually builds the roadmap and keeps it running smoothly and consistently every single time. And finally, scalable governance provides the rules. These are the automated traffic laws that keep everyone on the road safe without needing a police officer on every single corner. So, the combined result of this whole framework is truly transformative. You get a faster time to market because all that friction is just gone. Security and compliance get better because they're automated. You achieve consistency, you lower your costs, and I think most importantly, you create a truly developer-centric experience where people can do their best work. And this brings us to the final and most crucial question for you to think about. What kind of path is your team on? Are they stuck on a bumpy dirt road, reinventing the wheel at every single turn? Or are they cruising down a golden highway, totally free to innovate at top speed because the path is clear, automated, and secure? That choice, it really makes all the difference.